You're a busy sports mom and you're in between seasons. If you're anything like me, last season ended and you looked around your house in utter shock. I'm Renata, your ATL volleyball mom, and I'm raising 3 kids pretty much on my own. So trust me, I know what it's like when life during the season leaves your home and your bank account feeling like it's in survival mode. In the off season, we have a unique opportunity to move with a slower pace that we definitely need to take advantage of. But if we spend the entire off season in relax and unwind mode, the season will smack us over the head again before we know it, and we'll roll into another busy year having nothing done. What if we could use this time to our advantage? What if we spent the off season resetting the parts of our life that took the biggest hit during the season? This is video 1 of my off season reset series, where we're going to talk about how to reset the high impact zones in your house, focusing on the places that matter most to you and your family so you can balance rest and productivity during this downtime, and you can set yourself up for success later on. Let's get started. I like for our home to feel like a cozy and safe space. When we're in season, we're in survival mode and things tend to pile up. For me, it's corners of organized clutter. It's stacks of things that I know I need to purge, but I didn't really have the time to sort through it until now. It's areas of the home that need to be reorganized because the systems just don't make sense. But who has the time to reorganize kitchen drawers when you're looking for knee pads, right? I've done the Marie Kondo thing, and that is not what this is about. There are hundreds of YouTubers out there that can coach you through becoming a minimalist if that's what you're wanting to do. For me, this part of the reset is about strategically tackling a few high impact areas to shake off that feeling that your environment just isn't working for you. So, what are the high impact areas? I like to think of my house in terms of zones. There's the kitchen, which is typically the hub of all families. There's your personal space, which could be your bedroom, your bathroom, your closet, even an office. There are the common areas like the living room, dining room, maybe a basement. And then there are kid zones like playrooms, play areas, and again, even a basement. Out of all of these zones, in my experience, there are 3 of them that if they're feeling chaotic and cluttered, everything else tends to fall apart. The 3 zones we're going to cover today are your personal space, your kitchen, and your common areas. Resetting isn't about deep cleaning or burning yourself out trying to get things done in a short period of time. It's also not about throwing everything away that doesn't spark joy. It's about intentionally reclaiming these key spaces in a way that matters to you so that you can minimize the stress of having chaos in those areas. Before I tackled the kitchen or common areas, I wanted to start in my bedroom, and there's a few reasons for that. First, my bedroom is the one place in the house that's all mine. My bedroom has a different temperature than the rest of the house, a different scent, and even the walls are a different color because that's the vibe I need in my own personal space. When your bedroom is peaceful, you have somewhere to retreat to at the end of the day, even if the rest of the house is a little wild and crazy. I also started with the bedroom because for me, a visual reset causes a mental reset. When my room is cleared of the half unpacked suitcases or laundry piles, random stacks of paperwork and kid stuff that doesn't belong there, it feels like my brain can finally function at full capacity again. And that mental clarity makes it so much easier for me to unwind at the end of the day so I can sleep better, and then that gives me a better start for the next day. Starting with your bedroom sets the tone for the rest of the home. Going to bed and waking up in a calm and reset space, I naturally move through the rest of my house with more energy and more intention. It's kind of like putting on clothes or wrapping up in a blanket fresh out of the dryer. It doesn't fix everything in your life, but it feels really good. And it can change how you approach things as they come your way. Depending on your living situation, starting with the bedroom can be the easiest win, kind of low-hanging fruit. Let's be real, resetting the common areas usually requires negotiating with other people's stuff, whereas your bedroom, especially in my case, it's all mine. I get to make the call on what stays, what goes, and how it's arranged. So starting here gives me a quick confidence-boosting win before tackling the communal zones, which are a little bit less in my control. Starting with your own personal space can make you feel more centered, more grounded. And I know for me, having my bedroom feel like my own sacred space again is what makes me feel refreshed and ready to face whatever the day brings. So before you grab the vacuum and tackle the rest of the house, start with your own space. You may choose to focus on your closet or your bathroom, and that's totally fine too. Decide what room you're going to focus on. Take some time to curate the space in a way that makes you feel good. For me, in my bedroom, that meant finally unpacking from summer trips, doing laundry, putting things back where they belong, getting a new candle, or refreshing my bed linens with a cute new throw and 2 new pretty pillows. All really small improvements, but these are the things that mattered to me. So now I look forward to making my bed every morning, and that's pretty much all I have to do to reset my bedroom day to day. The second high impact area I wanted to reset is our kitchen. And there's a few reasons for that. Our kitchen is the hub of our home. Everything and everybody makes its way through the kitchen at some point. So if this space is chaotic, it bleeds into the rest of our day. But when it's organized, it saves time, it cuts stress, and we can actually enjoy being in here. In the kitchen, you want to be able to move from one station to the next without wasting too many steps. And when the flow is off, nothing really makes sense. Visual clutter leads to mental clutter. Each item is just one more thing that your brain has to process. And by giving everything a logical home and clearing off the countertops, for example, you create a calmer environment that makes cooking feel less like a chore and more like a quick, doable task. We've been in a very long, very slow DIY facelift of the kitchen because I just can't spend the money on a full renovation like I would want to, which is why I don't have any cabinet pulls yet. I'm super indecisive about cabinet and wall and paint colors too, so it's just started installed. We had countertops and backsplash installed last year, and this year my focus will be on finishing the cabinets and the walls. It's a little bit of an eyesore right now, but that doesn't bother me so much. What really bothered me about my kitchen was how inefficient the flow was. What I mean by that is the stove is on one side of the kitchen, but the pots and pans and cookware were on the other side. The spices were right next to the stove, but this cabinet is way too large and ended up becoming a spice plus vitamin and supplement cabinet. Every night I was spending more time looking for things and clearing space than actually cooking. And in a small kitchen, every inch matters. Also, our plates and silverware were over in the cabinet near the pots, so when I needed to serve up food from the stove, I'd have to kind of walk back and forth. Small appliances also didn't have a home, so they lived mostly on the countertops. For us, every bit of counter space really matters, and all that visual clutter was really making me feel a lot of stress every single night that I cooked dinner. It's just really, really inefficient. The kitchen is where so much of our family life happens, which means that because it wasn't working, we felt it every single day. So now, as you can see, I moved the spices into a smaller cabinet, freeing up a large cabinet for dishware, and the silverware went from way over there in no man's land to right here next to the stove and next to the plates. So now, when I cook up dinner, we can serve everything up right here. We also installed a trash and recycling drawer with 2 smaller containers so that the trash and recycling have to go out every night, which I'm actually really glad about. That got the trash can up off of the floor and out of sight. And I moved all the small appliances off the counter into a baker's rack. It has an outlet so the kids can use the air fryer right there. They don't have to move it from one place to another. Now, all that visual clutter on the countertops is just gone. Now, everything has a home. Every home makes sense. And the way that it's set up actually just matches the way we use it. Resetting the kitchen for me was all about re-engineering the flow. And now that my kitchen flows, my whole evening feels easier. There's 4 practical tips for resetting your kitchen. Number 1, start with zones. There's the prep zone, so there's your cutting boards, your knives, mixing bowls, anything that you use to prepare a meal. Your cooking zone, so your pots, pans, utensils, things that are near the stove. Your serving zone, so your plates, your serveware, cups, glasses, anything that's required for eating. And then maybe you have a lunch zone. This would be water bottles, lunch boxes, storage containers, bags, and any snack bins for easy grab and go. What I want you to do, zone by zone, is declutter first, reorganize second. It makes 0 sense to organize things that you don't need anymore. So start by pulling out all the items in a zone and donate what you don't use. I want you to give your small appliances a home. Anything that gets used 5 times per week or more needs to be easily accessible. For us, that's the coffee maker, the toaster, the air fryer. Everything else can really be stored in a cabinet. If it helps, you can pretend like you're staging your kitchen to put it on the market or take photos. Let the counters be as free and open as possible. And even if you have a small kitchen like us, it'll feel a lot more open. Work in 20 to 30 minute chunks. Don't try to overhaul the kitchen all in one go. You can go 1 cabinet at a time. That's plenty of progress. But if you have a hard time finishing what you start, like I do, go ahead and reserve a weekend morning, either before the kids wake up or right after breakfast, to just knock this out. When your kitchen flows, your mornings and your evenings will flow too. And that's one less thing pulling at your energy during the busy season. We have a pretty small house, so for us, the only common areas are the living room and the dining room. For you, common areas could also include a den or basement. These are the first impression spaces. Your living room and your dining room are usually the first thing people see when they walk into your home, and they're the first thing you see when you come home. So when these areas feel tidy, it's almost like a visual deep breath. Second, they take the most wear and tear. We live in our common areas. We have snacks on the couch, we do homework and work at the dining room table, we play games on the coffee table, and we really only have one television. So if anyone's gonna watch a show or a movie, it's happening right here. For us, having a nightly common area reset makes the mornings easier. 2 years ago, I had a small wall removed between the dining room and the living room because we needed more open space in our common area. This opened things up and it was a game changer. But because the space is so open, clutter can't really be hidden. Now, we live in our house, and I don't believe that things have to be impeccable at all times, but household chores are due by 9 p.m. So that means that when we get up in the morning, we wake up to a fully reset common area. I've got 5 tips for how to keep your common areas functional. Tip number 1, keep only what you actually use in these spaces. I'm not saying get rid of things, but I want you to reduce what gets stored in these spaces to only what'll get used in those spaces. So if you have little ones and they have a play area in their rooms or an entire playroom somewhere else in the house, limit what toys stay in the living room day to day. The less you have in this space, the less there is to clean. Tip number 2, create return zones. You can have baskets or bins in the living room where items that don't belong there can be tossed during the day, and then they get carried to the proper rooms at night. For us, each person has a step. So as one child is cleaning the living room, they sort out the things that don't belong and they place it on a step leading up to the bedrooms. Then there's another child who's responsible for clearing off the stairs nightly and putting things in the bedroom of the person they belong to. Tip number 3, use multi-purpose storage. Consider getting pieces of furniture that double up. They serve more than one function. So this could be storage ottomans or a bench with bins underneath, or even a sideboard in the dining room to house, games or art supplies that you need access to. Tip number 4, keep bookshelves intentional. We keep about half of our books in the living room and the dining room and the other half in our respective bedrooms. So that way the shelves stay balanced between functional and inviting and not overcrowded. Tip number 5, make the nightly reset non-negotiable. Set a time every night where everyone is responsible for taking their own things to their room. This teaches children responsibility. It keeps clutter from building up in the shared spaces. My children take weekly turns at each chore, so it ends up being pretty fair all around. In resetting your common areas, remember, this is not about creating a Pinterest-worthy room. It's about making the space that welcomes us when we come home feel welcoming and functional and easy to keep clean. As a bonus, I want to talk to you about one other thing that you can do to take advantage of the off-season. When we're busy shuttling kids around and living out of suitcases and backpacks, sometimes we tend to neglect the small problems around the house because they just don't seem like that big of a deal. But if you keep ignoring the little nagging problems, they will become big, expensive problems. Ask me how I know about that. I don't want these things to catch you off guard, so take a quick inventory of your house, look around, and see what needs to be done. Maybe there's shelves that need to be fixed or replaced. Is there a leaky faucet or a running toilet you've been ignoring? Is there something going on the outside of your house that needs to be looked at? In the last 2 weeks, I had to replace our garbage disposal and get some repairs done to the external part of 2 windows. That was something I honestly should have moved on sooner because it ultimately led to a bigger problem in the house, which I'm still having to take care of. One of my goals is to finally get my kitchen finished before the holidays, because I do not want to walk into another volleyball season with a half-finished kitchen. Try to identify 2 to 3 small home projects that you can get done during this time. These are the things that if you ignore, they can become a bigger issue, but would be a relatively low lift for you right now. Be proactive so that big unexpected repairs don't stop you in your tracks once the season is in full swing and the busyness resumes. I hope you've taken away from this video that you don't need to stress yourself trying to achieve perfection. This is not what that's about. It's about intentionality. How can we use the time we have to create the life we want so that our environment supports us as best as possible? If you just spend a few weeks now resetting the space you live in every day, even if it's just 20 to 30 minutes a day, imagine how much better you'll feel walking into the fall with a home that better serves your family's needs. One that brings you peace and makes life easier, not heavier. So drop into the comments, Which spaces will you focus on resetting this week? Stay tuned for the next video in this reset series, where I'll show you what I'm doing to reset my household budget to give me some financial cushion and a little more wiggle room to prepare for the next season. I'll share the 50-30-20 budget framework that I use to organize my finances and save for tournament travel. We all know that volleyball season is incredibly expensive. The sooner you plan for it, the less stressful it'll be later. If you're curious to know exactly how much a season costs, check out my Shocking Truth video. And if you're interested in learning more about how to get sponsorships to offset some of the costs, I have a video for that too. I'm Renata, your ATL volleyball mom. I'll be seeing you around.